everyone. So a lot of you probably noticed that I talked about Gaelic football in my intro video, so I thought I would just give a little brief explanation on the game itself. Please note that this footage is actually from our special Halloween game, so everyone's dressed up in their Halloween costumes. We don't dress up like that for games or practice. Now, if you're really interested in learning more about this sport, be sure to pause here and check out the USGAA site for the history and exact rules of the game. Then make sure you come back here to see the Austin Celtic Cowboys team in action. It's an Irish team sport that's usually played with 2 teams of 15 players on each side. We typically play on a rugby field here in Austin, but technically the field is a little bit bigger than rugby. So we'll just kind of start with the basics here. Gaelic football starts off kind of like basketball. There's a tip-off and you try to take control of the ball before the other team gets it. You'll notice that the football we use, it looks really similar to a volleyball, but it's actually a little bit more on the heavier side, probably more like a soccer ball as far as toughness and weight. It's actually funny because the way people describe Gaelic football is it's kind of a combination of basketball, volleyball, and soccer all together, and you can kind of see that as we move across the field, how we're passing it to each other sort of like a volleyball, but you can also kick it like a soccer ball. And there's many different ways that you can actually take it across the field. You'll notice here that we're passing a lot because it's recommended that you pass the ball between each other. And you'll see right here that we pass it more like a volleyball. That's our hand pass, and that's totally legal. You can't just throw it at somebody like a basketball. But another way that you can get it to a teammate is by kicking it. Obviously, a controlled kick. It's a lot harder than it looks to kind of control kick it to somebody, but my teammate here does a pretty good job at her kick pass. You'll probably also notice that we are also moving the ball. We can't just hold on to it and run with it like you can a football or rugby. I wanted to show that you can either bounce the ball or you can solo the ball, which is where you kick it back to yourself. I'm still learning how to solo. You can see that it's not easy in the slightest. You can't overthink it. You gotta just let it go. You'll notice here it'll happen really fast where she solos it back to herself before passing it off. Let's rewind that. And just watch how easily she kind of goes from a bounce to a solo. You can actually solo the ball as many times as you want. Every 4 steps you have to either bounce or solo, and you can't bounce twice in a row. Another thing I wanted to kind of go over is the actual point system as to how people win this game, because there are different ways you can do it. So you'll notice there's a net area where we call it a goal, and a crossbar area which we call a point. So you can kick or punch the ball into the net to get a goal. And for the crossbar, you have to either hand pass over the bar or you can kick over the bar for a point. And the way they actually calculate it is a point is technically, yes, a point, and a goal is 3 points, but we actually calculate by how many goals you got versus how many points you got, even though the points total up in the end. So it's a really interesting sport. Highly recommend you check it out if you have the time. Now that you've seen a brief introduction of the game, you can visit the Celtic Cowboys team website to see when our next games and practices are. We love when people show up to practice and give it a try, no matter what your sports background, so be sure to copy this link, paste it in a tab, and give us a visit. Don't be afraid to ask me any questions about it, or if you're interested in watching a game or even taking part in it, totally let me know. I would be happy to share more information, and we would all be happy to have you join the team. Thanks for watching.